Hello, and welcome back to the newscast that has no name. I'm Tammy, and today's first story of the day, we apparently have Bibbles taking over downtown New York. We have reports coming in that they keep screaming, Bibble Nation. We have a reporter over there right now with the news story. Jim?
Yeah, it looks like the Bibbles are getting out and about. They're pretty cool though. Some of the responders say that, they're really having a party. And I would say I agree. I was not invited, but they happily let me in. They gave me a pair of wings and everything on top of that. So it's pretty good out here. I like it. But I think there's a fire starting back here. I'll get back to you afterwards.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Please be careful out there. Anyways, hi guys. So welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 4 now? I am Christina. This is my brother Spencer. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. We kind of just made this podcast to talk about really anything and everything. As you can tell by the intro, we are a little weird, but yeah, if you guys have any comments or anything that you would like us to talk about or even discuss further that we've already talked about in our podcast, you can always let us know on our social medias, or if you're watching this on YouTube. I know that's currently the only platform we have this on right now, but we are trying to get
No, we got it added.
Yay.
So it's on Spotify now as well too. I will say it's very hard to actually access it on Spotify, because when I tried to look it up after I created it, it was not popping up at all. And then I was also trying to look it up. I was showing another individual today about it on YouTube, and I was like, there's only one way to look it up. You have to literally look up the at Let's Talk Podcasting, which is crazy. You can't look up Let's Talk because there's like 50,000 things that come up. We even filtered it to the channel and it wouldn't even bring it up. So I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, at Let's Talk Podcasting is definitely the best way if you are sharing it with friends. I mean, you can just share the link as well too, but each person I keep running into does not have I'll ask him, okay, do you have a Facebook? They're like, no. I'm like, this is weird, because typically I would think somebody who works at retail establishments have social media. I guess just Facebook isn't the thing anymore for them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if you guys have anything that you would like us to talk about or any comments about the podcast, you can always let us know on our social media, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can let us know in the comments below. Our social media is linked on our YouTube and the Instagram. I want to say the at.
I'm trying to get more of that link, because I remember when I did YouTube previously, you can link them all up and around, but I don't know where it's at right now. I don't know if they've changed, because I think since then Google bought them, so I don't know if it's different. Okay. But it's been a while since I did that video editing, so some things have changed with that. And Facebook owns Instagram now, so yeah, a lot of things shifted.
But you guys can always let us know if you would like us to talk about anything on our socials, on YouTube. We'll have all of our stuff in the bio. I wish I had the app for you right now, but I don't remember it, because I think our Instagram and TikTok are both different right now. But I'm going to try to get them to be the same, so that way it's easier to look it up.
Instagram is Let's.Talk Podcasting. I should have just pulled these up, but it's okay. We'll get those all linked in for you, just so you're aware of where to catch us at. We're also going to be adding polls as well too, because I can do that on Spotify. I can add polls for them, so we'll go ahead and add those. We'll just have more communication, because I feel like that will definitely be necessary to get y'all more involved. Some of y'all already comment, so let's go. But yeah, that's where we'll have everything linked for you. I don't want to make that too long of the intro for y'all.
Yeah, but we just we always want to be improving our podcast. If you have any comments about the podcast itself or anything that you feel like we should be doing differently, you can always let us know. We're always trying to be better. This is our first time. We've already had some issues with the editing portion. I don't know if y'all caught the last episode, but the audio is not correct. And we were trying to get it reposted and it didn't work out. So this one will have the correct audio, so you'll be able to hear us loud and clear.
I will just let y'all know as well too. I think it was the information that we had on that podcast, especially toward the end. I was talking about education. They don't want it happening, but it also was an hour-long podcast, so it does take substantially more space as well too. So
yeah, but yeah, we're definitely working on that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the podcast. A question I wanted to ask you.
Okay,
actually.
Amazing.
I recently have been seeing this. I don't know if it's because it's winter time, or we just passed spooky season, I guess as it would be called.
Okay.
But do you believe in ghosts?
Okay. I have so many different, like, I guess, examples. A lot of research, I think, that has been done on that. I definitely do believe in them. Now, have I necessarily seen them? No. And that's interesting. And that comes with, like, the power of belief. But yes, I would say I do believe in ghosts. I've had friends who have talked about it. I have one good friend who his dad has been seen by every other family member besides him. So it's very interesting because each house has, I think, the spirit and soul that gets ingrained into it. That's why the movies portray that. The movies literally portray where the house has the soul because it's realistic, and that's what makes it scary. Just like how humor works too.
I just want to make sure your mic is not like all the way in your shirt so people can hear you.
I think it still will, even if it is. It actually picks it up pretty well, but
Okay.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yes, I do believe in ghosts.
Okay. You've never had like anything happen to you specifically?
But like, what do you
Like
mean?
with a ghost?
Like, they came in barging with a hammer or something?
No, I just mean like that, like, have you always believed in them, or was it like something that happened that you were like, oh, yep, they're real?
That's really hard to correlate. I think I've always been on the fence about it, as I am about a lot of things. I mean, if there's like if there's a new approach to it or a new thing that comes up, I think it's like with anything. If somebody has a good, like, example of something, I'm like, let's say that's a good point. Let me like try to correlate that into my belief already. So I think I've been on and off about it. Like if you ask a kid if ghosts are real, like, nah, and then they'll have something where like the parent will scare them, and then it's like, oh my God, they're real.
Well, here's the thing. I had something happen to me. This is back at the Kamal place. We were the first people to ever live in that house. So like, it was really weird to me that this happened, but I was in my room and I had the door open. Nobody else was home. I was the only one home, and my door shut.
Oh.
And it wasn't like my door was like cracked, and it was like, maybe it was like the breeze or like the air conditioner turned on or something, right? It was like my door was like probably like over halfway open, and it just shut. And I was like, what the heck? And I had like a few little weird things that would happen, but I think the door one was the biggest one where I was like, oh my God, nope, there's a ghost. And I feel like most people that like are afraid of ghosts, like they'll sleep like with the lights on, or they'll sleep with the TV on. But like me, for some reason in my mind, I was like, you know how this ghost is gonna go away? I'm gonna, like, I would turn off all the lights, I would get into my bed, I would like throw the blanket over my head, and I would shut my eyes, and I was like, if I can't see the ghost, he can't get to me. So like, I was like, the dark is my friend, but I feel like most people are like, the dark is where they hide.
Yeah, you like approached it like head on.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had another ghost experience since then, but I thought I'd bring it up because, it was spooky season.
Yeah. So with that experience, has that ever changed your mind about ghosts? Like, have you ever stopped believing in them again, or has that been your firm belief ever since then?
No, I think I've like always kind of believed in ghosts, because I also believe, like, obviously you see in like horror movies like the scary ghosts that like are trying to like, I guess get their revenge or something. But I also believe that there's like good ghosts, like maybe if somebody like left, the earth too soon, but they still had some things that they needed to do, I believe that like they come back. Or like if a loved one is like going through something and they need some guidance, I feel like a ghost would come back and like, be like, hey, let me help you, And it's funny that we talk about ghosts, because I've been thinking like a lot recently about Grandpa. He passed away, and we were never really close because, he worked in the railroads. He was gone a lot. But I don't know, I think about him a lot, especially recently. And I have like his watch still. It used to tick, but it doesn't tick anymore because I think the battery's dead in it. But I don't know, I just like, it's really random that it would like come up that I just start thinking about him a lot. And we used to go out on his truck and like watch the night sky. Like, I guess, I don't know, I associate like the night and the sky with him, and I think that's why I like the stars, and like in like middle school, I remember I was so obsessed with like science and the planets. Like I think I did like a research project and it was about the planets because I was like just so amazed with space, and I think it's like my connection to him.
Yeah, the stars in space. I have a slightly different connection with him, which you did bring up. You had brought up Shania Twain. Music is usually what I think about with him. I'll be driving because he was on the Union Pacific, for all the audience to know. He would do that for a consistent amount of time. I mean, he was gone for like days on end, but then he would come back. Like, it's kind of like truck drivers, a similar thing. He would be gone for a period of time and then he would come back. And I do something similar where I'm driving around all the time. And I'll have the thought come up, like if I'm in a grassy area and it's like country type side, countryside type of area, the sun's hitting right, or it's like a Sunday morning and how the sun comes up, I just think about him and then I'll be like, let me put on Alan Jackson Drive, because that's what I think of him with, is songs. But the night sky for sure. I've had multiple conversations with friends and I state that as well too, because I think as you get older, you start to look up and above because you're like, what else is still out there that I may not discover? But you also may become that thing that is out there as well too. You may become the cosmos. You may become those stars that are out there. And maybe that's why you're always looking for maybe inspiration, or, I mean, Grandpa, he associates himself with that. So maybe he does want you to be a dreamer in a way. I think it's pretty cool. Like, he did it with like subtle notions, but he did it through his actions. Like, we remember him because of these things. And I think that's very neat. And I think ghosts, tying that in, also do that as well too, because you want to observe what the ghosts are doing. Like, if the door is slamming, it's like, okay, how is it associated with the door slamming? Why is it associated to this house? Why did it happen to me in this moment? And did you come up with any of those conclusions when that did happen? Or did you think of Grandpa during that time?
No, I don't think he had passed away when that happened.
He was not gone yet, no.
Yeah, no. I think I was too young for me to like question it too much. I mean, I've never been like afraid of like horror movies or anything. Like I've always like liked them. So I think like that in combination with the fact that I was too young for me to be like, oh, what's going on? Like, I never really like dug into it and was like, oh, what kind of ghost is this? One thing that does scare me though is those Ouija boards. No, that is the one thing I'm like, no thanks.
Have you ever messed with one?
No, thankfully. Because then I might be haunted by a ghost or a spirit.
I definitely believe so. I know that I know individuals that have done witchcraft, which is actually, when you brought up the question, immediately I thought of somebody that I knew. He talked about how his grandma had done it generations ago and is carried throughout his lineage of family, and he'll have dreams about it. So like, he turned what could be like something that is like in reality into his vivid dreaming or his dream-like state, because you're carrying that spirit through there. Because I think when you sleep, like, something is pulling your energy because you're having to recharge. So you have to go charge yourself into something. So whatever you get is being fueled back into you, which is, it could be good or bad, because people talk about how their dreams could be something where they can create into their reality, and people can get it from there. It's a good source, but you also control what that source is. Our brother has talked about this too. He had like a long streak of just what he would consider nightmares, whether he was dying or he was seeing people he didn't want to see, or all of these different events unfolding. And that's something that can occur with individuals. And that's something where you have to watch your state of consciousness. It's like, why would these things be happening? Is it because what I'm doing isn't the right path? Is it because it is and it's trying to stop me? This is where that in-depth intuitive thinking comes in, because if you observe those things and you don't think they mean anything, then I think you're missing out on so much of what the brain can create, because you're missing out on a pattern that could be useful, or it could be meaningless. But you want to look at those things and actually investigate those things, because the other source of energy is going to try to take that away from you if you don't, because it's giving something to you. So at least try to fight back. Like, in my dreams, what I've noticed is I'll actually start fighting back in my dreams if I have enough power, and it all depends on what I'm doing here. I think it's a very interesting thing because I used to get killed by snakes a lot. And Chinese astrology base, our dad is a snake. I'm not saying it's him specifically, but maybe it was because back when I was a child, I was afraid of him. And now I was finding a way to overcome how to beat the snake. And there are other things, like I would fall to my death in other dreams as well. Like I remember grandma's house, I would fall down the stairs and just, as soon as I hit the ground, I would wake up. And I'd fall out of planes and all of these other things. And it's because I believe I didn't have control of myself. And that's something that, requires you to look at your brain, because ultimately, once you regulate those things correctly, you have more control and power over those situations that seem so unrealistic, but are very vivid and are very real. It's just, it depends on your perspective on them, but that's what I've gathered personally from them. What can you say about your dreams?
I've never had a dream where I've died in it.
Really?
Yeah, I've never, like, people have talked about, like, falling and then, like, they'll wake up, like you said before, they hit the ground. I've never had a dream like that. I've never been falling. I've never died. For some reason, I have a lot of dreams where, like when you're running in a dream and like, it's a dream because you're not running as fast as you know you can.
Yeah.
Like you're running like almost in slow motion. That happens to me a lot. I feel like I'm running from like things or trying to catch things. Like I remember I had a dream where I was trying to catch a school bus. I don't even remember why, but I was like running, trying to catch this bus and it just kept driving. And I was like, I know I can run faster. I know I can catch this bus. Why am I running so slow? And I feel like part of you knows that you're like in a dream and you're like, this is like so stupid. Come on, like you got this. But I don't know. I feel like, there was a long period of time where I like didn't have like any dreams, or at least I don't remember any of them. But like, I think I mentioned this in another podcast. Like I like been having like a lot of dreams to the point where like I wake up and I'm tired because I feel like my mind works during the day and now it's working at night during this dream.
But that also could be a useful thing because now you're exercising the brain on a different manner. I think in like reality, when people choose to do like chess, which is very brain stimulant, or they're working on computing something, like AI or something that they're doing on their computer, or they're creating a program, like they're putting all of that into that type of program, which requires more brain power than actual physical power, because you're basically typing and stuff. But you can definitely get drained mentally, and once you're drained mentally, physically, you're pretty much unmotivated to do that next thing because you've overloaded that system. Whereas you take somebody who's a bodybuilder, they'll physically get tired because mentally they have that capacity already to get past that. They work in two different systems, but they also work together. There's a chain link thing. Just like the brain has a connection between its second brain, which is the stomach. Some people may have heard that before, but I think that those things are very important because when somebody talks about diet or food that they eat, those connections are different for each individual. And I remember working at Kirby Lane, and there were specifically these two people who came in. They were like 4 or 5 years older than me, but they were in business. And he was talking about that specifically, where it's like, it's not about like the Mediterranean diet, vegan, vegetarian, or carnivore diet. It's more about what works for you. You have to be your own test trial. You have to be your own run with that. And once you can connect those two things, it makes you more powerful. But that thing will also adjust over time, because if you're always eating, let's say, potatoes all the time, I think your heart becomes not necessarily weak, but it's not strengthening in a manner. And why I say this specifically is because I remember this video of this guy who did have a heart attack, and the doctor actually told him to only eat potatoes. And I thought that was interesting because that effect means that, okay, maybe it's trying to wash out the system and it's easier on the heart. But if that was all that you ate, wouldn't that just mean that your heart would always be super easy? Like, you need it in that emergency situation, but you shouldn't be eating that consistently in that case. That's what I would think, or at least draw the conclusion of from what he stated.
I know like people that have a heart attack. The show I'm watching right now, the guy actually had a heart attack, and the nurse that's taking care of him, like there are certain foods you can't like eat like after you have a heart attack. Like people that are trying to recover from that.
Yeah.
Salt, like salty foods, like a lot of butter, like stuff like that is like it could potentially give you another heart attack. So I mean, I don't know the logic behind only eating potatoes, but I mean, I'm sure there's like some like logic, and it's probably not like a forever thing, like, oh, that's the only thing that you have to eat, or like you have to eat this for the rest of your life. Like it's probably just like, hey, like let's start with this, and then, you know, obviously like add things on. Because if you only ever ate potatoes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, snacky snack time at 2:30, like you would be like, this is disgusting, I never want to eat this again. Do you ever get in those like periods where like, let's say you like find a new food and you're like, oh, this food is so good, I want to eat it all the time, and then you like eat it like all the time for a while, and then you get tired of it, and then you find something new and you're like, yeah.
I have the perfect example of this, and people are going to be like, what the hell are you doing during that time? Well, okay, so what I did is at one point I would be like, I go to H-E-B, and then I go straight to the bakery department, and I find that 20 pack of the heated tortillas, and some of the viewers will know exactly what I'm talking about, because they would see me scarfing these down. I'm talking 10 to the whole pack of tortillas, and
in one sitting.
In one sitting, I was a hungry individual during that time.
But like only the tortilla, like
only
nothing
the
else?
tortilla. See, I would put stuff in the tortilla and I was satisfied. I was like, you are ruining the product.
You're like, I just want the tortilla, that's it. Nothing more.
And what I always didn't like as well too is like they would stack them, and that's cool, but they would put those little papers between them. I'm like, I'm trying to eat faster. Why do you got the papers stopping me?
You said, I'm trying to eat a triple stacker and I don't want to eat paper with it.
There would be triple stackers. Sometimes there would be 5, but I like to paste because they tasted great. I was like, you know what? I'm going to have one right here. And then I would go to the next one. Now, that was not good long term, but I have fallen into that area where that's occurred, and I think you have too, right?
Yeah.
What was your medicine?
Mine was cheese. I would eat even like blocks of cheese, which is so nasty to think about.
Blocks of cheese? Are we talking sharp cheddar?
Oh, I don't remember what it was.
Are you kidding me? So it was just like kind of anything?
It's probably sharp cheddar was one of them, or the mixed one, like the Colby Jack,
okay.
I think is what it is.
Okay. But like, what are we talking? Like H-E-B brand or like?
It's probably from H-E-B.
You're not even sure? That's how like unregulated you were. You're just like, just pick up the cheese, any of them.
Give me the cheese. I mean, I would have cheese with everything. I would just have blocks of cheese. Not like the big, like I would cut it up. I mean, I'm a little sane, you know. I would cut them up. I also liked eating them with pickles.
What?
Yeah. Pickles and cheese.
I cannot say that I've been a part of that, but okay. I have eaten the cheese, all right? Like, okay. I've had cheese by itself, but only in certain amounts. What I would do it with is the mozzarella balls. Whenever they had those, I was just like, oh yeah, they're delicious. So you mean
just a ball of cheese?
Only a certain amount, but then I started to realize my digestive system was like, do not ever try that again. And that was because the tortilla incident of 2005. That was deadly.
Y'all let us know if you've had any weird food cravings where you're eating them for long periods of time.
I know every single one of y'all have, and that's the reason why, because as a kid, what you do is you try to investigate what you can have. Like why the parents have to stop the kids from eating candy on Halloween, because they will throw up and it's way too much sugar and it can hurt you. But you have to feel that pain of going through that first, because I know individuals with different types of things. You talk about cheese, I talk about tortillas. You have avocados that people will get into. There was a period of time where I did like those, but not to the extent of like where I'll just eat one by itself. It's good. But yes.
Why are you eating an avocado by itself? That's like a topping.
Okay, ma'am, you were eating cheese, which is a topping.
Okay, touche.
Yeah. So every individual has like their choice, and they would run into that problem where they're eating that too much. I feel like every individual goes through it, but please make a comment on what it was because we are interested. Like the tortilla one, I do want y'all to top that because I feel like it's somewhat normal because they do taste very good and those sell out very quickly. Not because I buy them all, but because they are delicious and they're freshly made. So yeah, but I started to not become affiliated with them for multiple reasons too. Like I just can't have, I can have one maybe, but my system is overloaded with whatever nutrients it is. As soon as I touch it, my system is like going into shutdown mode. It's like, nope, you are going to have problems in the future.
He actually has a whole storage unit in the HEB tortillas.
Storage unit in the HEB? No.
I'm saying you have a storage unit with all of the HEB tortillas.
Oh, did you figure out my U-Haul center? It's like one of the 2 to 3 bedrooms is just stacked of tortillas. I feel like the roaches would get to that though.
Oh, probably.
That's a whole story in itself.
You would need to eat them faster.
I would. Well, that would be very difficult. Because imagine how many tortillas, I would want to guess a number of how many tortillas would fit in a 2 to 3 bedroom storage.
Like you're talking about like a full to the ceiling?
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Like you couldn't walk in. I would have to, okay, what's your guesstimation?
That's where you're going to end up on an episode of Hoarders. I guess my guess, it's like a 1 bedroom?
No, 2 to 3 bedroom size.
Oh, jeez.
Let's just say,
it's gotta be in the thousands.
Oh, easily. I would almost argue maybe 10 to tens of thousands.
Yeah, because I mean, the packet's only like that big. So I mean.
Okay, they're not in the packets, ma'am. We're talking just stacked out of package.
What are you making the tortillas at that place?
No. Like I said, I go into the storage unit, I open it up, I say, hello, I love you, little tortilla. And then I eat them.
Wait, you're telling me you take the package off the tortillas, you take all the papers out between them, and then now you're stacking them.
Yes, exactly.
You know how much work that's going to take?
That's not the point. The point is that the tortillas are there.
Okay, yeah, no, it's got to be in like tens to thousands.
Yeah.
Maybe even 1 million.
Okay. Nope. I don't think you could get 1 million. Now, if you said hundreds of thousands, maybe, but I still think that might be pushing it. If I had to
Let's test it out.
It's like I did, and it's like a few episodes later, I'm just like, yeah, so the real number was 72,596.
Everybody put your guesses below. We'll see who's correct.
It's like it really does get revealed. It's like my strange addiction. Spencer loves his tortillas so much that he's fed him, raised him, and kept him in his storage unit. He's going to jail.
That reminded me of the Tootsie Pop, where it's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. Did anybody ever find that out?
No.
I feel like somebody did. Ooh, you know who, on YouTube, Ryan Higa. I don't know if anybody's seen his videos. He doesn't make them anymore, but like when YouTube was first starting back in 2011, 2010, he was making videos on YouTube, like skits and stuff. And I think one of them, he figured out how many it was. I don't remember how many it was. If somebody wants to look up the video and put it in the comments for how many it is, because I'm pretty sure he found out the number.
I want to say it was like, and this is a wide guess, 192,000 to 396,000.
You're thinking it's in the thousands to get the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Yes.
No.
Licks. We're talking about licks, ma'am.
Yeah. It was.
We're not talking about. We're talking about.
Yeah. It was not in the thousands. I'm going to let you know that right now.
It was not in the thousands?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to find out whatever that is.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll look up this video after, but...
That seems like that does not seem like enough. And we're talking about the big Tootsie Pops with the chocolate in the center.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
That's how you would know you got to the center, is if the Tootsie Pop was in there, because if not, how would you know you're at the center?
Oh, wait. Do you just have to get to the center, or do you have to finish it all?
You have to get to the center. That is the question. How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? You're over here thinking,
wait, hold up.
How many licks does it take to complete it? That was not the commercial.
End it! I'm thinking that to get to the center, what is the easiest way to get to the center? Do you think you would go from the top, or do you think you have to go through the paper? Did you ever eat the paper off the Tootsie Pops?
I mean, sometimes when you're trying to get the Tootsie off of it, you're kind of munching on the stick.
Okay, but you ever eat it by itself?
Ew, no.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, let's talk about Mr. Paper Eater over here.
Well, there's already one way. I did eat those.
So that's where your paper eating addiction started.
It may have. Thank you, Tootsie Pops.
So for you guys that don't know, he used to eat paper. What was it, in high school?
Okay, many individuals that I know have eaten paper. The paper eating gang.
No, but like I know some people like when I was in high school that would eat paper, but not to the like extent that you're telling me you ate paper.
It's because we were shredding machines. The banks actually borrowed us for tax day because we would go through so much. No, I would eat a lot. I would rip out notebook paper, and as the teacher was talking, it was either that or bite the nails. I don't know if I was nervous or anxious, but if they caught me with a slip of it, oh, I was in trouble.
Wait, your teachers like...
No, they didn't.
Okay.
I was just saying I was in trouble. She's like, Spencer, are you eating paper? And then my career is over. May as well just cancel everything, sell my house.
Our parents get a call from the principal. Yeah, your son's been eating notebook paper every day during class. I think maybe you need to have a talk with him.
And then they're like, we condone that. You have a problem?
They're like, all right, yeah, we're calling CVS.
and then once they show up, we're all in Fallout armor, and we're like, what's up?
What are you trying to do? Launch
power
those
fist. Just power fist them across the street, and then we get the actual cops called on us, and then we got like 6 stars. We got the tanks coming after us. I'm down. Let's go. No, but that would not occur.
No, oh my God.
But the paper eating thing was real, yes.
Just not the part where your teachers knew about it.
I don't know. I feel like they've probably snuck a peek, but they never pulled me on the side and been like, hey, Spencer, I'm kind of concerned about your ink paper eating abilities.
Well, thankfully, there was like, you didn't eat like the paper with like writing on it, right? It was just like the paper blank.
No. That would actually be bad. I feel like you could get,
you get ink poisoning.
They talked about that, but it depends on the pencil. Like if you use mechanical pencils, I don't think you would have that problem. But if you use like the number 2s, I think, because it does have graphite in it, but I think it's such small quantities that it probably wouldn't make too much of a difference. It just depends if you were shading a picture of Van Gogh or if you were just writing your paper, so.
Speaking of number 2 pencils, I actually have a piece of pencil stuck in my hand. I don't know if you remember this, but you stabbed me with a pencil.
Dude, not only that, when you said that, I immediately thought of our brother where I pushed him into the fireplace. He had a fire truck piece stuck in his knee until he was 14.
A fire truck piece?
Yes, a piece of the fire truck. There was a car there, and I pushed him into the fireplace, and it grooved it into his knee.
Oh!
And it was there till he was 14. They literally had to remove it at some point, but it was there the entire time.
Wait, I don't remember this at all.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how. It was always on his knee.
I mean, I remember getting stabbed.
Wait, did you have to get that removed?
It's still in my hand. Mom was trying to get it out with tweezers, and she couldn't get it out. And I mean, luckily, the pencils aren't made with
Graphite? Graphene?
No, not graphite. It's what is it called?
Lead?
Lead. Yeah, they're not made with lead anymore because you could get lead poisoning. They're made with graphite, and so I think I was told like it'll eventually grow out. I think it's just grown in though. I think it's made a home in my hand.
It went the other way.
There's somebody else at work that I was talking to about this, and she's like, I have the same thing. She has a piece of pencil stuck in her hand. I'm like, why does everybody have pencils stuck in their hand?
I feel like that's just happened at one point. Like you made some mistake and you got it stuck in your hand. This reminds me of...
somebody stabbed you with it?
Or, yeah. What, like, was I aggressive that day?
No,
like, what happened?
I don't think it was purposefully. I think it was an accident. I think you were holding the pencil, and I think I, like, turned around, and like, you just had the pencil. I don't know why you were holding it by the eraser, but, yeah.
Ma'am, do you hold it by the other end? Do you hold it by the tip of it?
You don't just hold the pencil out like this for somebody to accidentally run into.
Ma'am, I'm not throwing elbows at people, so I wouldn't have that happen. don't know if it was a WWE match or whatnot, but
No, I think it was an accident though. I think you were just holding the pencil and I like turned around and it hit my hand and got stuck in there.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I've almost forgot about that, but that is a real thing. Yeah, that just reminded me directly of our brother's situation because that is still a running joke that literally I'll always remember that because I was an aggressive little kid. Like I wanted to beat things up. I still have aggressiveness now, but it's at a lower capacity. I only shove people in the park once a day.
Like I brought it down to once a day.
And then they capture that moment where I just said that. They're like, this man pushes people around. Bully! And then I go like they put me in the high schools as like the, what's that, the anti-bullying thing? They're like, yeah, this kid did this. You don't want to beat him. And this is for like third graders. And then the high schoolers, it's like, this man went to jail after pushing somebody in the park. Like they try different tactics.
They try to make it worse because if you told like a high schooler, oh, this man pushes people, they'd probably be like, okay. And
okay,
so do I.
I do that on the daily. I push my t-shirt around too.
Oh, principal's office.
Nope, he pushes the principal around too.
Have you ever gotten like in trouble in school, like a referral or got sent to the principal's office?
Okay, we've talked about this multiple times. So I've never gotten a referral. I know you have, and we're going to go into that in a second. But I actually did get detention one time. I remember we were outside and we were lining up to go into the computer lab. I don't remember what grade this was. I do recall though that somebody was doing push-ups over a jump rope before this was happening. And I was like, bro, what? Like he was doing that consistently and it was just teaching us. That grade specifically, they were doing some weird stuff. We learned dancing. We learned that. We were doing tetherball championships. I was like, bro, this is jam-packed. But I do remember we lined up and I think some kid was like talking with me and he was like getting really loud with like people and we were all in the group and somehow I got associated with all of that when the teachers told us to quiet down. So we ended up getting detention. And this was when I was very young. Like I said, before middle school. So not really anything that was super major, and then I didn't get into trouble after that because I always got in trouble when I was at home. So it didn't really matter. I didn't try to get in trouble at school at that point because I wanted one place that I didn't get in trouble at and didn't have to have consequences that were bad.
You're like, I saved my trouble for the home.
I saved my trouble so I can push people around at the home. No, that wouldn't happen. That would not happen. I was definitely kept in check at home, but it was good. It helped shape me to not be that person who would do it at school because I didn't actually use that on people when I was in school. I was just quiet. I think I used more of a passive-aggressive approach toward people, and I finally learned to, have both of them. Like you have to be aggressive at certain times. Like if somebody's coming up and is about to stab the person next to you and you don't react, like come on, you can't get scared at that point. Like today, I have a specific thing that happened. So I pulled into the parking lot and I was going to Mighty Fine Burgers because I just wanted to grab something to eat. And it was the closest thing and I was very hungry. And this person comes around the corner as I'm backing out. And keep in mind, I'm already like halfway backed out. This person comes up and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to try to hit me. So I just stop my vehicle. He comes in and parks, right? And I'm backing up and I have my windows down. And I'm like, he was the first person to say something. He's like, oh, you were pretty close to me, basically, or some remark like that. And I was just pissed because it was me who was backing out. I was like, why is he doing that? And I'm like, why did you have to do that? And he didn't even respond. I think he started to realize, like, he thought he was in the fine, like I was in the wrong. But this man was in the wrong. So he kind of like shift moods, and I think he kind of froze. I don't know if he was afraid or what, but I just drove off because I could have did a lot more. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, motherfucker, I can... Like I was upset. I was just like, why did he have to do that? It was just so unnecessary. It was because traffic all day was like that. But that was not okay. But very much sidetracked on that. I just had to get that portion out because you have to be aggressive. You literally have to be aggressive at times, but you have to know when to be passive too, because we just don't want immediate war all the time. But there are times where somebody's really messing with people's peace where it can shift society. So yeah, how did you shift society with your referrals?
Okay, I only got one referral, and it was not my fault, just so everybody knows. Also, to that little rat who I consider my friend in first grade. You know who you are. But I was in first grade, and we had lunch.
Why was it expressed like that? We had lunch. Lunchables.
No, I wish our parents never bought us Lunchables.
Yeah, well, we were on a budget. We were on a strict budget.
know.
Actually, they did. What? That's how we had Lunchables. Is that they get, not all the time. That was not every lunch. It was usually a little
Should have
Sammy.
been every lunch.
It was a Sammy. The most disgusting one is the one with cheese and bread. That's not grilled. Do not ever feed me that, especially when it's with Kraft cheese. God damn it, it's terrible.
Okay, so our mom used to make us lunch, so we wouldn't get lunch at school. And so I was sitting down eating my lunch. And my friend, she always got food in the cafeteria. And she got a spoon because she needed it for her food. And for some reason, I don't know why it was set up like this, but at our school, if you went into the bathroom and you went all the way to the very back of the bathroom, there was another door to go outside. So my friend goes into the bathroom with her spoon and then just goes out the other door to go outside. And we normally, at that school, we had to wear uniforms, but that day we did not. And so me and her were outside. She had her spoon. I did not have a spoon, so I was just sitting there. And we had like this huge field, and then we had like these trees that they had like just planted. And so she goes over there with her spoon, and she's just like digging in the soil, and I'm just sitting there just like watching her. And this other girl comes over with her spoon, and she goes, "Can I dig with you guys?" And my friend goes, "No." And she grabs a spoonful of dirt, flicks it all over her clothes. And the girl goes, "I'm telling on you." And so she goes to go run inside and go and tell a teacher. And I was like, I don't want to be associated with this. So I immediately ran to the playground. I was like, I'm going to spend the rest of my recess time at the playground where I should have been all along. So I'm at the playground doing my thing, living my life, and the bell rings for us to go back inside. So I go back inside, and my teacher's like, "The assistant principal wants to see you." I immediately started crying. I was like, "No, not the principal. I didn't even do anything." And so my friend went to see the principal first, so I had to wait for her to come back. And then I went to see the assistant principal, and you want to know what she told me? She said, "Your friend told me that you flicked dirt on her." I said, "What?" I'm sorry, she said, "What?" And yeah, sure enough, she told her that. And I was trying to tell the principal, I did not. I was like, I was there, but I did not flick any dirt on her. She did not believe a word of it. She gave me a referral. And I knew, I was like, as soon as I get home, I will get spanked for this. I went home, and of course, our mom was there. So I told her first, and she was like, "You're going to get a whooping. Wait till your dad gets home." And I was like, no! And yeah, I got a whooping, and I never got a referral again. So referral was not my fault, and I never got one again. To that little rat, count your days.
Okay. Do you actually remember her name?
No, I actually don't.
Okay. I think you missed out a vital part of the story. Did you push the principal afterwards? That was caught on tape.
No.
TMZ exclusive.
I did not push anybody. I did not do anything wrong in that situation. And I'm so mad that I got in trouble for it. Me and her were not friends after that. And the funny thing is I want to say a few years after that happened, I was in, I want to say it was like Costco with Mom, and I saw her there.
What?
Yeah, and we like locked eyes, and I immediately was like, nope, I'm not even acknowledging her. And I walked right past her. Yeah, that rat didn't deserve my attention.
Well, so when you saw her, like, were you in the same grade, or like how long afterwards did you see her?
I want to say it was like maybe a few grade. I mean, we would have been in the same grade because we were both in first grade when it happened. I want to say maybe...
Ma'am. Oh, you're talking about her. I think you said we. I'm like, ma'am, we are not in the same grade.
No, me and her were both in first grade. So I want to say it was maybe like third or fourth grade. Probably. It was like a few years after it happened. But I was like, see this rat over here in Costco shopping with her mom.
That's when you push your mom.
Push her right into the turkey.
And she's like, do you know what that was about, honey? No idea. Flicks dirt at her mom.
Maybe this will re-jog your memory.
And then her mom is like totally confused because she had no idea what happened.
I'm actually curious if that girl got a referral or not, because I don't know. Because we stopped talking after that, because I was really upset about this. But yeah, I really want to know if she actually got a referral or if I was the one that got a referral for it. Because if I was the only one, I'm actually even more upset now. Like if that was
because she would have got away with that lie.
Yeah. And I just want to know why the other girl like corroborated that story and was like, yeah, it was the other girl.
Well, she was the one who got impacted. And she's like, I could have swore the one who ran off to the playground was grinning about it.
I could have swore it was her. That also I don't know why I had a trouble time in elementary school apparently. Because also in first grade was when I walked home
I knew you were going to bring that up. I didn't know if it was the same grade, but I knew that you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, no, they were both first grade. So I walked home from school and I got picked up by a stranger. This is before I knew you weren't supposed to get in a stranger's car, but let me tell the story. So at our school, like that Friday, they told us, hey, like we're switching lines. In the morning, when you come in, you would set your backpack down at your line and then you would run off and go to recess and then you would just go back, grab your backpack. Your teacher would take you inside. Well, that Friday, they sent out like a little note home, hey, we're switching classrooms, so we're going to be switching lines. So obviously, after the weekend, me being in first grade, I was like, I'm not going to remember that. So I come in, Monday morning, like, woo, here we go, school. And I set my backpack down in the regular line, and I go to play at recess, and the bell rings. So I'm running back. And I swore that I heard my name being called and I turned around. I don't see anybody I know. So I'm like, okay, it was nothing. So I keep running and I go to where I set my backpack down. It is no longer there. In its place are these really tall fifth graders. And I was like, I can't find my back. And by the way, the teacher's standing there, like, ready to take her class in, and I was like, I can't find my backpack. She didn't do anything about it. She took her class in. She was like, bye. So most of the kids are inside by now. And there's like a few backpacks still sitting out there, but none of them look like mine. So I was like, you know what? You know who knows where my backpack is? My parents. So I was like, I'm gonna walk home. And mind you guys, we did not live close to the school. Like when you walk out of the school, there's a neighborhood, but then you have to go out of that neighborhood and there's like this main road, a lot of cars are driving on it, and you have to like keep walking. Like it's probably like, I wanna say maybe like 10, 15 miles from the school. So that like a walking time, like that's a long walk. So I'm walking out of the school, there's a crossing guard. He lets me cross, this little like 6-year-old first grader walking across. He smiles like, lets me walk across. Don't know why he was allowed to do that, but okay. So I'm walking, I finally make it out of the neighborhood and I'm, turning onto the main road. And as I'm like walking on the main road, like, there was a sidewalk, it wasn't like walking on the road. I was like, you know what? My parents' house might be a little too far. Let me walk to grandma's. That one's a little closer. Mind you, it's still probably a good like 10 miles. So it's still a long walk. So I'm walking and all of a sudden this car pulls up beside me and it's this lady. She goes, sweetie, are you okay? Because I'm crying at this point. Like, I'm like, I can't find my backpack. And this lady's like, are you okay? And she's like, I can't. Or I told her, I was like, I can't find my backpack. I just need to go home. And she was like, come in. And at this time, being a 6-year-old, I was never told, do not go with strangers. Don't get in strangers' cars. So I didn't know that was something you were not supposed to be doing. So I, being little naive me, was like, oh yeah, let me get in this car. This lady seems nice. She gave me a tissue. So very, very nice lady. And I wasn't like 100% sure how to get like home, but I knew how to get to grandma's house. So I was like, you know what? I'll take her there. So I told her how to get to my grandma's house, and she pulls up and grandma's outside. She was doing yard work, I think. And her eyes widened. She was so terrified seeing me come out of this stranger's car. And luckily the lady was so nice. You know, she didn't kidnap me or anything, obviously, because I'm here. But she was telling my grandma, she's like, I saw her. I didn't want someone bad to pick her up. She was walking on the main road by herself. And my grandma was like thanking her, like, thank you so much. Like, oh my gosh, like, she was mad at me though. So she was like, sit down on the bench. I'm going to call your parents. So she called, you know, mom and dad. And they were babysitting at the time. So it took them a little bit to get over there because they had to put our cousin in the car seat. And they come to, you know, our grandma's house. And I get in the car. And my dad, of course, you know, he's asking me what happened. And I let him know. And he gets down to the school. And he was so mad. He went into that office. And he was like, I'm here to pick up my daughter. And so, you know, of course, they have to send a note down to your classroom and they cannot find me. And they have to let him know, we cannot find your daughter. And he goes, exactly, because you guys let her walk home by herself. She got picked up by a stranger. And they were so like, oh my gosh, like something bad could have really happened to me. And so he's like, I just want her backpack. I'm taking her home for the rest of the day. So they gave me my backpack. I went home for the rest of the day. The next day I go into school. This girl that was in my class tells me, hey, I saw you set your backpack down in the wrong line, so I grabbed it and put it in the correct line. She was the one that was calling my name. She was the one calling my name when I was running by. And I was like, you don't grab people's backpacks and like just take a, because if my backpack was there in the original line, I wouldn't have walked home. I probably would have been like, oh, well, where's my teacher? You know, like I wouldn't have tried to walk home to try and find my backpack, you know, because as a sixth grader, I didn't know where the office was. I didn't know I could go to the office and be like, I can't find my backpack, you know? So I'm like, my parents have the solution, but this girl had to pick up my backpack and take it to a new line just because I forgot which line it was supposed to be in. So many rats in first grade, to be honest, like, ugh.
What a journey. What a journey.
I had a rough time in first grade, as y'all can tell.
Yeah. It is wild that they did let you, like, escape school. Like, normally they'd be like, hey, get back here, kid. The fifth grade teacher was just like, yeah, class, come in. Who's this freak?
Who's this little munchkin running around? There were so many people that could have helped me. That teacher could have helped me. My friend, not
the crossing guard.
The crossing guard.
He's just like, yeah, it looks like they're letting out early today.
Yeah. They're letting this one kid out early today. She has no backpack or anything.
She's got a mission to go on with the Wonder Pets.
She's gonna go Wow Wow Wumpsie real quick. Y'all remember those shows as a kid?
Yeah, I feel like we're also gonna just link those at many different points. That's just it.
We need a Wow Wow Wumpsie canvas now.
We have way too many canvas ideas. We also have T-shirt ideas, which we can talk about too, because we are gonna wrap up this podcast now. We do have T-shirt ideas. We're not going to reveal them, obviously, until you see them. But those are going to be coming at some point. We don't know. We're trying to get a lot of things situated, but we'll just say coming soon. Kind of like your local gas station. You don't know when it's going to come in there, but it's going to be there at some point.
It's going to be there. Don't worry. We're trying to work on a lot of things with the podcast. Obviously, we're just starting out, so everything is fairly new. Obviously, like, I feel like we've gotten good with the setup so far. We've fixed the cameras. Hopefully, we can deal with this editing issue we've been having for I guess the last two podcasts, because the first one was a camera issue.
You keep saying that. Oh, you mean, outside of that.
First one was a camera issue. The last two were editing issues.
No, somebody said that your audio was actually messed up on the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so never mind. We haven't gotten any of them right. And it's because I need to go back and proofread. But when you're doing like 53 minutes of proofreading, it was good because last time I was getting more clips, so I noticed those mistakes, or we would have had more audio issues, where it's just like showing me looking at you as you talked about something.
But yeah, we are trying to work out all the kinks. But like I said, always let us know if there's anything that you'd like us to talk about more that we've talked about, or something we haven't talked about. You can always let us know on our socials, or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can let us know in the comments. And even just let us know if there's anything with the podcast that you would like us to change.
Or even talk about. If you got questions, we can get answers for you. I know I have a lot of in-depth thinkers that are watching as well too, so definitely throw those at me. I definitely need to do more research in that regard. I do a lot of reading now, like my habits have shifted a lot, so a lot of it has been going into this, and that's why we're able to do longer ones as well too, because I really do like focusing on this, and I do like the audience that we're going to grow as well too. I think that you're going to get a lot out of it, or we wouldn't have went down this route, because I have full faith and belief that it will be something that is larger, because there's so much information, there's infinite amounts of information, and you're always going to have a question, and it helps hopefully build your character as well too. But we're going to wrap up here. Happy Thanksgiving, because this one will drop on Wednesday, so it'll be the day right before then. Get your shopping in. I don't know if y'all eating turkeys, because people were ordering chicken today. I was like, okay, they said, nope, no more turkey. We got chickens, baby. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving to y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you for continuing to watch us, or anybody new that is starting to watch us. And yeah, we will see you in the next one.
Yeah, catch
Bye.
you later.
There by your side, gangsters cry. Sandy, I've been missing on you. Know I